Let's hope we hold up here tonight. From WrestleZone.com, I'm Kevin Kellam, broadcasting to you from the NBC Tower in downtown Chicago. Wednesday Night Wars. What a night it was indeed. So much going on here. And I want to know what you thought of AEW Dynamite and WWE NXT. Get your comments on the screen. Share the link. This is The War.
WrestleZone.
From full sail to full gear, Wednesday Night Wars are on. It may be the best wrestling night of the week. What a night it was indeed. I'm Kevin Kellam. Once again, follow me on Twitter at KevKellam. Joining me as always is my friend who looks like Seth Rollins, does not have a giant wallet, but has a big heart. All right, but he's not Seth Rollins. No, from Tampa, Florida, the home of the upcoming WrestleMania, Mr. Robert DeFelice. Robert, what another wild night in the books here with wrestling on two different TV channels.
We said this before we went on the air. I genuinely think this was the best, show versus show night that I've seen so far, where both companies have seemed to have brought it. They brought it tonight.
Oh, man, incredible. We'll get into all of it. We have new AEW Tag Team Champions. We had a Rick and Morty crossover on AEW. NXT, they had a big crossover as well with Poppy, a well-known internet music personality, opening the show. They created two big War Games matches. They had some phenomenal in-ring action and some big moments on the microphone with a demonic character who turned on The Fiend and the entire NXT locker room. So much to get into in this show. Both shows are great overall. Before we give our ratings, before we decide who took the night, our instantaneous reactions, you were covering NXT. I got to watch both shows. What's your big takeaway from WWE NXT tonight? Because they set a lot of things up for War Games in Chicago in a few weeks.
You can knock them for the small presentation, and I get it. Mm-hmm. It's not a big venue. But God, if that isn't the most devoted crowd in wrestling today, I think that was fantastic. The women, for me, stole the show with their massive brawl. That just seemed like, I love when that happens, when everybody just wants to fight. And, that to me is what wrestling is. Everybody should want to get their hands on each other and inevitably get their hands on the championship. And I think the women stole the show tonight. Big days for women.
Kabuki Warriors taking on Team Kick. I thought it was the match of the night. I thought it was a phenomenal, well-paced match that played off the well-known injuries that Tegan Nox and Dakota Kai have come back from. They both had knee surgeries. They're both been coming back from these and have teamed up as good friends to take on the newly heelish Kabuki Warriors, who I think everyone thought it came out of nowhere that they turned heel a few weeks ago. But that settled in, right? Once you saw them out there, the way they kind of strutted down to the ring, the way they were carrying themselves in the match, the way they cut off the ring, they're a great tag team. They're a phenomenal tag team, and you want to see people beat them up. They do the missed angle with the referee's back turn. They cover Dakota Kai, who looked like She-Hulk the rest of the night and the whole segment. It was a wild, great match into a sprawling fight afterwards that sets up a War Games match with practically every woman in NXT is involved in this match.
Yeah, literally. And I really thought for a second there that Kabuki Warriors were going to get involved, because we've seen 3-on-3-on-3 War Games in the past, and Kabuki Warriors and Aew could have easily been made into an evil team. And now they did their business. They spit mist in Dakota's face, and they got out of there. But the women of NXT are pissed, and they're looking to fight. I said this to in a group chat. Rhea Ripley is a boss, and Rhea Ripley is she's going to be the person who dethrones Becky Lynch if she keeps going the way she's going.
That's a powerful statement.
I know that's a powerful statement and a bold statement, but she just carries herself like a legit badass.
Manuel Escudero, who is commonly texting into our chats with a wonderful flow of blind negativity, says Kabuki Warriors dumbest name ever. Hey, you know what? I may have heard it's a dumb name, but they're getting it over. You know, they're coming out there with colorful outfits and they're getting it over, and people can believe them as heels. There isn't a better WWE women's tag team that has a more powerful presence than they do. You told me their name is Kabuki Warriors. You turn them heel. I mean, if you give a performer a tough situation that seems like it's hard to get out of, and they can make it work, they make it work. New Day did it. I think Kabuki Warriors are making it work. And especially, it seemed like a different energy for them in Full Sail as compared to being on Raw or SmackDown.
Well, they love them. And, you know, it was like a homecoming for them. And I got one of my favorite moments of the night. Little thing. The referee, once he realized Dakota was covered in mist, was like...
He almost was like, oh, no, what happened?
Oh, what did I do? Yeah, like, what a great little moment.
You got me. You got me there.
It's better than that. And I'm not knocking the main roster, but sometimes you see those angles happen, and they're just like, hey, your face is green now. Okay, 1, 2, 3.
She hulked out. She turned into the Incredible Hulk.
Badass segment with the women.
Yeah.
I love subtle thing here. I love the podium that NXT has added to their set.
Where Regal's, you saw the crowd go nuts once they saw him on the podium. When the crowd was like, oh, and once they saw him come out, they immediately started saying war games. We want war games. Because all the pieces came together very quickly. The Lady Undisputeds came out of Shayna Baszler, Marina Shafir, and the MMA badass women. Then Bianca Belair, then Io Shirai. So there's your five heels. Candice LeRae, Rhea Ripley, and does that leave one more spot open? Or
that leaves two. That leaves two.
So you have all the women on the heel side, but what about the babyface side?
So on the heel side, you have Io, Bianca, and the Horsewomen.
Yes. And
on the babyface side, you have Candice, Team Kick, Rhea Ripley, and maybe that does. Maybe I'm wrong here. That does leave 5 on 4.
It's 4. If you're doing 4 and 4, that's there may be one person left out of the ring. Then they may leave one person out of the match if they're doing 4 and 4. So
Bianca to me strikes me as the odd woman out because
I would put her in before I put in Maria Shafir or Jessamine Duke.
Right, but I didn't know she was about to side with Shayna until she came out and assisted them.
Candice, yeah. So I could see that too. No matter what, it's a great match.
You do have Toni Storm. You've got Mia Yim. I mean, you've got a stacked women's division. Candice LeRae is shining right now. She's finally, and I don't mean this with any disrespect, but for the last couple of years, she was presented as, hey, look, it's Johnny's wife. And she's getting this moment to shine, and I'm loving it. Just everything with the women was perfect tonight, I thought. Want
to clear this question. Adam Collier are texting in. So are the Kabuki Warriors on NXT now? No, they're the women's tag team champions. WWE has stated this, but I don't know if it's been hammered into fans week to week. If you are the women's tag team champions, you can defend the titles in any brand. So this allows them kind of float between the different shows. So yeah, you can say they're drafted to different shows, but because it's a tag team title and they have a lot of women, they want to do a lot of focus on the women. Now this lets them do whatever they want with it. So I understand.
And they hammered it home tonight, and I think it's refreshing to know, okay, we're going to go back there. The Kabuki Warriors are going to be on NXT.
Jon Blayne texting and saying Wednesday night is a freaking night of wrestling. It is a lot of freaking. There was a lot of freaking going on. All right. We talked about War Games getting set up over on NXT. That was exciting. I will talk about the Finn Balor promo, which I will tell you was the best promo of the night. But let's get over what was going on with AEW. They crowned new AEW Tag Team Champions in their main event. Of the main events, I thought it was strong. I'm going to say this, though. I thought the main event tag team match of Matt Riddle and Keith Lee versus Undisputed Era was better. It had an explosive finish. Undisputed Era was able to clear the ring and steal the victory and get away as the bad guys once again. You would have thought, though, if you would have told me that it was that tag team match on the NXT side versus SCU and the Lucha Brothers, I would have gone with SCU and the Lucha Brothers being a better match. I think this match got hurt, a very historic match for them. got hurt on the AEW side because they started saying at about, it came up at about 8:50, 8:48. So they had a 10-minute window to get this match off air. They don't have an overrun on the AEW side. So they had to get this match out before the end of the hour. It was under 10 minutes. In commentary, they're saying if we don't get to the end of this match, we're going to post it on social media. And immediately I saw people tweeting about that. Immediately I saw people tweeting about, like, is this going to be the second week in a row where you have a non-finished main event? And they're getting very, very critical about it. It didn't take me out of the match because I was kind of watching both. I have this screen here and I have a screen up there. I was watching both. I really felt like the Lucha Brothers SCU match felt rushed. It was good, but it felt rushed. It was not a bad match by any means. And you almost had, like, even Pentagon being like, what? I mean, I was a roll-up finish. It was a roll-up finish. I felt like they were told to go home early.
You think, and this is me maybe being too deep in the weeds and thinking everything is part of the show. Do you think they're trying to do that as a way to get over? It's a real sports-centric presentation, and sometimes things aren't perfectly timed as they would be on other shows. I think it might be, but either way, I think it's stupid.
They're getting too much into the aesthetics. They're tripping themselves up on things like we touched on this in the most recent episode of WZ Daily, and today this will count as the episode of WZ Daily. We'll talk about Crown Jewel. We'll talk about everything outside of Wednesdays too today. But we were talking about this when they announced the panel judges, the judges that they're going to have for this title match between Cody and Chris Jericho for Full Gear on November 9th. They like the sports presentation. They're enjoying it. What match is sanctioned? What match isn't? It's minutia. To wrestling fans, it's a big match. And if you get too into that stuff, you start to trip over your feet with it. And then, because then you're going to have a problem where you're going to have a storyline that doesn't lend itself to playing into a sports-centric world. And you have another match that does. They want to go for buffet style, where you have really fun stuff. The Rick and Morty crossover tonight with the best friends and them wearing the cosplay outfits. I heard some fans hated it. I absolutely loved it. Where they got introduced to the ring by the voice of cartoon characters that are very, very popular show, Rick and Morty. You had fans with the masks on in the crowd. It was very, very cool. I liked it. It was funny. It lent itself to what they were doing. Orange Cassidy had a fun spot in it. The best friends looked like a fun mid-card, goofy, fun tag team. Their version, AEW's New Day. Nothing wrong with that. But you get goofy there, but then you get very serious with something else. The fluctuating tone is going to get – I'm not saying it's wearing on me, but I could see it being confusing for a first-time viewer.
Yeah, and I'm really hammering this home. Every time I see AEW, they seem all over the place. And that's me as a wrestling fan who understands where wrestling is now. It looks not well put together in the sense that it just seems chaotic and not in the fun, chaotic way of like the NXT women tonight. It just seems like, hey, look at how much we have going on. Isn't this all crazy? Look at how much wrestling we have. It just seems like too much all the time to me.
Mm-hmm. Other people texting here saying the match at the end of the night deserved a better ending. I got to agree. I mean, it was, like I said, I didn't think SU and Lucha Brothers was a bad match. I don't think it lived up to the hype. Am I fair to say that?
I think that's fair.
Yeah. And I'm not doing that because it's not like AEW didn't have some home runs. I thought the Rick and Morty thing was really, really fun. I thought that was a great match. They had two new women, Shane and I'm going to mess up her name. Harita. I'm messing it up already.
I can't help you. I didn't see it.
I don't have my notes in front of me. They did some new things. They were fun. They had, but the Cody Jericho segment was really, really wild. They have the stage. So we're not gonna do those usual contract match signing things where we try to put each other through a table and all that, right? We're not gonna do that. And Jericho really stoking the fire, wearing his Jack Skeleton Halloween outfit or what have you. Wanting to wear the Blazers. And then they cut to the backstage area. It's a beatdown. It's Dustin getting beaten up by the Inner Circle. His head dented a car, and then they broke his arm in a car door. Where have we seen this before?
Children, if you haven't seen this, and it's okay, I bet you can YouTube it in 5 seconds and it'll come up. Type in 4 Horsemen, Dusty Rhodes, arm break, and I guarantee you this thing comes right up.
Yeah, so for fans who don't know, back in the old classic NWA eras, Dusty Rhodes going against the 4 Horsemen for a long, long time, chasing Ric Flair. The Anderson brothers broke Dusty's arm. I believe, was this before Starrcade? I think it was probably before one of their big matches.
Yeah, it was one of those like that was the Hard Times promo, right? You put Hard Times on
Hard Times. You put Hard Times on these coal mine workers.
All right, and I'll say it right now: if they try to go Hard Times territory, you gone too far. Like they're already, for me, kind of reaching. Okay, this is going a little too far in the. It's a love letter to Dusty, and I appreciate it. But you got to pull back a little bit because right now it just seems like we know who the 4 EVP are, and they're just like getting their own stuff in, and just it's very disconjointed for me.
Do you think it's indulgent?
Yeah.
I don't think so. Because he broke his arm and he dented his head in the car. It was cool. But immediately, once I saw his arm by the car door, I was like, oh, they're going to do the Dusty spot.
Yeah, but that's a problem. But especially considering
there's fans who love that though. There's fans who love like there's a time limit draw and there's judges and there's things that make it think of NWA and WCW and all these little touch notes that WCW do that WWE doesn't, that they were going for. And it felt like that. You know, like they were doing a bunch of different things, a lot of different stuff.
You like mix and match socks, Kevin?
Yeah. I think I'm doing it right now. You want me to prove it?
AEW feels like mix and match socks too, where it's like
I got this mismatch sock right there. I got that sock, and then I got this sock right here. They're both black, but they're not the same kind. My mom would be upset. All right.
Yeah.
Anyone screenshot this? I'm in trouble. Don't tell my mom. All right.
But AEW feels like mix and match socks to me.
Socks. I'm gonna call Robert's mother and ask her to get you. I know. You didn't think you were getting that.
I did not think I was getting that.
Oh man, crazy stuff here. Other notes we got. Jon Moxley. They opened the show with a really interesting segment where AEW doesn't want the floating camera backstage, where the wrestlers don't know the camera's there. Well, this camera was shooting with a closed door. The mics were on, and Moxley was pissed about last week's AEW Dynamite getting cut off in the main event. And they wouldn't sanction his match. And he said, I'm unsanctioned. And then he cut a promo later in the night, very fiery promo, where he went off on AEW and the Turner executives and what have you about him being unsanctioned.
Is it too early for this? Because I did this promo I did see. Is it too early for this? Is it too early to start immediately saying, you know what? You can take your wins-loss record and shove it up your butt. Like
It's annoying because it's like you're talking about time limits and we're going to go to the TV time limit and we're going to have this, and it's distracting. It distracts me. And then you have a character, one of your most popular characters, saying this win-loss stuff, it doesn't matter. I don't care. Yeah, I'm cooler than this. It's too much. It's too much sometimes.
Right now, it's really feeling like, all right. So you've got Cody, Jericho, the Bucks, Kenny, and Moxley. And everybody, you know what they're known for, and they're going to do what they're known for, and it's going to kind of make sense because you're a wrestling fan and you'll get it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's fine. But like I said, I don't know how that plays to a casual viewer. Like somebody who's like a 10-year-old kid who plays WWE 2K and now he just wants to start watching wrestling shows, because that's how a lot of wrestling fans start. They start with video games and they move over to this stuff now.
Oh, yeah.
And Manuel texting you says, what do you guys think of the Moxley promo? I thought it was a really good promo, but it negates everything else the show is trying to do overall. Like,
I didn't like it, and here's why.
It felt like he wasn't putting over his opponent.
Not only that, but it really felt like they didn't go there this week because they've been going there too much. They really wanted to go with, and the suits in the other company tried to. I don't want to hear that every week. This is how you get into TNA territory quick.
Yeah.
Like
it was good, but there's just things in it that make me think, and this is everything that I think a lot of the performers love about AEW, that is also a weakness. They're not editing themselves.
Yep.
The Jericho segment with Cody and him went long. It went long. All right. It felt long. It felt like they went into the commercial break almost with it. And the beatdown segment it was cool. It was fun. But in retrospect, I'm watching and they're going into the commercial break and they're doing commercial breaks where they're cutting to stuff that isn't like they need to keep going. Like it felt like they were running over time. And AEW had another fantastic night. I thought the 6-man with the Elite was fantastic. I thought they looked great against Hybrid and Kip Sabian. The powerbomb on the apron, the fun outfits. It was wild. It was a really, really good time. I enjoyed it. That was one of the better matches of the night, too. Phenomenal stuff. But there's storyline stuff they're doing that just doesn't, like, it doesn't feel like everything's in sync. It feels like there's you know what I mean? Am I wrong with that?
It's, for me, and you kind of touched on it already, I feel like it's very much play your music your way, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but I don't necessarily want to see the Foo Fighters in one segment and then Outcast the next. Like, it's a very disjointed show. I want
the radio station I work for plays both those bands. 101 WKQX, an alternative. We got it all, baby.
But it's like I want a set of, like, okay, give me the Nights We Stole Christmas, give me the 1975, give me Cage the Elephant, give me them in a nice show, and then I'll go see a different style of show. I want the music that's being played to at least make sense with the other music that is being played.
All right, if you're with us, what do you guys think of AEW and NXT? Sound off in the comments. Get your comments on screen here, like Big JR, faithful viewer of the show. If you're watching for the first time and you're with us live, get your comments on screen. Or share the link. Pass it on. Share this with your wrestling buddies. You're on the virtual couch with us on Wednesday night, the big wrestling night. Also in the show, we'll talk about that big Finn Balor program, the promo that he cut that is setting up a lot of wild possibilities for WWE NXT and maybe even some other shows in WWE. Plus, we'll talk about the historic match made today by WWE that'll go down in Saudi Arabia tomorrow. We have Crown Jewel tomorrow as well. So we'll be up on
and it's like literally like 12 hours, just about 12 hours until we can start watching this pre-show. I want you to really let that sink in.
And we will have a post show with that too. You and I will be live with a post show after that as well. So it's just a wild time to be a wrestling fan here.
I want to read this comment from Ben Cliff here that says AEW needs to concentrate on their own brand and themselves rather than slide dig at WWE, making them look sour.
We didn't get any straight up WWE references here, but the Moxley thing struck me as
it skated the line of like, we want to go there, but we don't need to. You know what he's saying. The suits.
Yeah, I get that, but because we just don't want to say Vince McMahon or WWE, right? But you're not fighting WWE. You're in this new company, right? And it didn't keep his focus on Kenny Omega.
We're not fighting WWE until we say in every interview we do, well, they're the minor league show. They put us up against developmental. Because you know what it is. It's all about digs. Seth Rollins said it today on Corey Graves' podcast. You know, you got to make headlines, and that's all it is they're making headlines with that kind of stuff.
And it's also, if you're a hardcore AEW fan, like, we have guys, I've had picked out a couple of Manuel Escudero's comments here while he's watching, and he's trashing WWE. You know, I mean, it's a fun thing for AEW fans to do. They like doing it. But the problem is you're not in sync. It doesn't feel focused. Another glaring problem I think they have with AEW. And it became very apparent this week. Where's your women's match on Full Gear?
All right, let's talk about it. Because this is something that a lot of people who watch wrestling specifically for women's wrestling. I'm talking about Casey from Squared Circle Sirens. I'm talking about the women who watch wrestling to see the women wrestlers.
Female wrestling fans are tuning in. My gay friends are tuning in that watch wrestling, and the women are what they want to see first. That's the thing. Those are their favorites, right? You and I have favorites. I love watching a Daniel Bryan match. I turn my brain off. I'm not Kevin from WrestleZone when Daniel Bryan's in the ring. I want to watch a Daniel Bryan match and just turn my brain off, right?
Right.
And just be emotional and respond to it. And women are like that with different characters, like Britt Baker on AEW, with Riho, with all the women in NXT, like a Candice LeRae or the Kabuki Warriors or Shayna Baszler. I hear that a lot. But then I look over at AEW, and we had 2 new characters in the ring that have not been on television yet. And we have not seen Riho, your AEW Women's Champion. And we didn't get any of Britt Baker and B. Priestley, which was a storyline they were building to last week. I don't know what the match.
I feel like they're going to present these matches, and they're going to try to make you think, well, you should care about this because the Joshi are great, and isn't Britt Baker versus Bea Priestley something you want to see? But I think people want to see more from the women. And I'm gonna say something that might be a bit of a hot take. I think Dark is a detrimental show for AEW.
You were talking about the digital show that runs on Tuesdays for AEW, correct?
Yes, I'm talking about AEW Dark that runs every Tuesday on YouTube because they're getting this content out there. It's like, I'll make a video game reference. It's like you're playing Universe mode in the WWE games, and you're just booking matches because they're cool, but there is zero story here. You're just, well, we're going to do this at the pay-per-view because it's a pay-per-view, and I'm going to do this cool match. I want to understand why these people are fighting. And you do that good with like Cody and Jericho. I very much understand why they're fighting, but you're not doing that across the board, and that needs to change.
I love this comment here from James Landrum. Thank you for joining the show. First time I've seen you in here, James. He says, I feel like too many wrestling fans, especially on social media, get caught up in the whole war thing and forget we all love wrestling. Absolutely correct. There's no reason to trash one company over the another. Watch what you want, love what you love, and enjoy the fact. Enjoy. I love that word. Enjoy the fact that there's a ton of great content for us, the fans. Yes, we'll play off the Wednesday Night Warzone thing. We'll play it off for our Carney. Come in and join the virtual wrestling couch of WrestleZone. We'll play it off. But absolutely, I mean, it seems like we're attacking AEW quite a bit here, and I see some people getting very mad at us in the comments here.
Well, no. Like, hold on. I called NXT a buffer show 2 weeks ago, and everybody thought I was being a jerk to NXT. I'm going to call it like I see it. I know what a big-time show feels like for me. Maybe it's that I'm an older fan at this point, but I can't just see match after match after match without some type of story.
And AEW tried to do that a lot tonight. I thought they really gave a lot more time to the Moxley promo, to the Cody Jericho situation, and the backstage attack, and a lot of gaga around the ring here. And I think more people are going to come out of the show talking about Rick and Morty than they are going to be talking about a match they met, which is fine.
I'm so mad I didn't see any of the Rick and Morty bit. Like
it's a really cool bit. You'll enjoy it if you go back and watch it. You'll really like it because they literally the best friends dress just like Rick and Morty. And Orange Cassidy is wearing a Rick and Morty outfit, and he clearly doesn't want to wear it and gets it off of him as quickly as he can. And he does a bunch of fun stuff. It was a really cool match. I really liked it. And they got walked down to the ring by Morty. Oh, don't hit your head, guys! as he came awesome. So that was kind of fun. I enjoyed it. It was a good thing here. They also the ring.
Oh, geez, it's a wrestling show, Rick.
Oh, geez. They had the ring posts and the turnbuckles with Rick and Morty on them. So, and the ring posts look like Portal.
I love that.
It was a really cool touch. I tweeted this out. If someone gets whipped into the ring post, do they go through the portal and then come out? If Cody got whipped into the ring post, would he come out as Stardust? That's what
that would be so much fun. Never mind the lawsuit that would occur. That would be so much fun.
Yeah. Shoot off your comments here, guys. Hopefully the stream sticks up for us here as we're rolling along here. Let's talk about this Finn Balor promo. Finn Balor lit up the world over on WWE NXT. Now, we know that he did the big turn, and it was something that left the world talking, and WWE did a great job on today's show before he came out and cut his promo that basically this is making him a more in-demand character. Him turning makes him the hot commodity in WWE NXT. And here he is on FS1, and here he is on TMZ since last week, and here is everyone talking about him. And then he comes out and he says, 2 months ago, I laid down for the hottest thing in wrestling. And he wears a mask, so he's the hot new thing. And he basically makes fun of the Fiend, Bray Wyatt.
But right there, I was like, okay, we're going somewhere here. And this is an interesting thing, because you now have Finn Balor and Seth Rollins on different platforms saying, what the hell is this? This guy puts on a mask, and all of a sudden the fans who liked me, I have to sit here and pretend I want to lay down for this guy because he's the hot new thing. That's that's an interesting take on it. And I really enjoyed that Finn Balor, he went straight to it. He said something I didn't expect him to say.
Mm-hmm.
He said, there's a lot of people in the back who might as well be sitting in the crowd, basically insinuating that wrestlers today are more marks than they are wrestlers. And Johnny Gargano being at the top of that list. He said, Johnny, I understand you got out of hospital, but if you want to go back, I'll put you there so you can be Johnny Watches Wrestling, just like it should be.
The lighting on this was perfect too. Where they put the spotlight on him, and it really made you focus on him and the words he was saying, and the crowd losing their mind, and him saying, "You're not going to be Johnny Wrestling. You're going to be Johnny Watches Wrestling." When I'm done with it, I was like, holy crap! And the wrestling business watches me. Like, it's like, whoa, dude! Like, you thought you were getting the demon Finn Balor, and you're getting Bullet Club Finn Balor.
Yeah, you're getting a jerk rock and roll Prince Devitt right now, and it's so good. It's so good.
Yeah, it was wild. It was literally the best promo of his entire career.
Definitely.
This is the best interview. I'm saying anything he's ever said in New Japan too. I mean, the Balor turn into the demon was a fun, exciting visual character. But at this stage of his career, he's going to get so much out of pissing so many people off and making this turn. It was the best heel turn I've seen in wrestling. Definitely the best heel turn that WWE's had in a long, long time. And we thought Bayley one month ago was fun.
And I think, honestly, if Bayley, I don't want to say if she was given more time, but I think if she was given more of the real backstory and the reasoning for the turn, I think Bayley would be just as good at it. Because it just feels special. He's like, you know what? I'm sick of this. I should be the hottest thing in wrestling. And he feels like it right now. And he only talked for 90 seconds. By the way, he didn't drag this on. This wasn't like did we lose Kevin? Oh. Well, if you guys can still hear me, I really like this because it felt like it wasn't dragging on and it wasn't, you people want an explanation and I'm not going to give it to you. It was just good. Are we frozen again?
I don't know. Maybe we are. Hopefully we're back on air. Let us know if we're back on air. Hopefully we're back on air. Here we go.
For the usual, are we on the air? Are we frozen?
For the regular viewers, let us know we're on the air. Be Live, Be Live. This could have been a hiccup in the internet there. Okay. All right. Yes, we're back. Damn it. We're back. Okay. We're cool. William T. Wages says we're cool.
Okay.
All right. Cool. Whatever. Take a hiccup in it. We roll on. Yes. We're back. Okay. Cool. Thanks, guys. Gotta love it. All right. We move on. I had to reboot the whole page. So here we are. We're live again.
We're live.
Keep going, Robert. You sound fine. All right. Everyone says
all right.
All right. Whatever.
Okay. So my point being, Finn Balor did in 90 seconds something beautiful, didn't overstay his welcome. That's the beauty of NXT. That's the beauty of Shawn Michaels and Triple H calling this thing. Being like, listen, you know how to get something over. Get something over in 30 seconds. Go.
I don't think he made Johnny Gargano look big because he mentioned, you're Johnny Wrestling. You're going to be Johnny Watches Wrestling.
He didn't make him look bad.
Like he got his opponent over. They're going to do something with Johnny Gargano and Finn Balor. That's where this is going, right?
Takeovers, that's going to be the match.
But they're also teasing those guys in a War Games match. Are you going to do both?
I don't think you need to. I think the War Games match will probably be Dijak or Dream teaming with the other three. And then you do the one-on-one match. Because that's a one-on-one match that...
Yeah, and that's a 3-match bill right there. That's really, really cool. And Women's War Games, Men's War Games, Finn Balor versus Johnny Gargano.
That's all you need.
I mean, those are 3 really good selling points. And if they you definitely can do something else with a bunch of other characters in there too.
Yeah, because you got Pete Dunne and Damian Priest probably get a match.
You could do an NXT title match. You could do some other fun stuff there as well.
You got so much. The depth of everything right now is just fantastic.
I have some good wrestling news, and I don't have kids, right? Everyone talks about, this, like when you have you have cousins, right, Robert?
Yeah.
And they know you watch wrestling. Will they tell you, oh, I like this wrestler, I like that wrestler? And when a young kid talks to you about wrestling, you immediately go like, oh, cool.
We got another one.
My nephew is going to one of the WWE shows here in Chicago. He's going to go to one. We don't know which one he's going to yet, and he doesn't watch this. He's not going to be able to see this. I can say it. And I am so excited to bring it. I'm like wildly excited, and I just want to be like, go to the show. Like, we're gonna get a bunch of sugar in you, and we're gonna yell. It's gonna be great. But that's a fun thing.
You want the one you want to get him to is Survivor Series. I
think Survivor Series is where we're going. Yeah,
that's always special.
Oh, we lost Robert. Hopefully he'll rejoin us. But yes, I'm excited to bring my nephew to Survivor Series. Let's get into more of your comments here as we're rolling along here and what you guys thought of this week's show. James, Espanto, Fernando, Tagoal, Big Kev, Robert, Finn looks like he's not joining Undisputed Era. Do you think this opens the door for Tama Tonga? Or Finn, with a few pictures weeks ago, they were in cahoots, be a featured team in New Japan. All right, so here Tama Tonga is with New Japan Pro Wrestling. I don't see him crossing over. I don't see a crossover here at all whatsoever. I see Finn Balor going off, being a lone gun, shooting his own shots here and doing his own thing. And let's see if Robert can rejoin me here in a second. We'll see if this will work. Gotta love B-Live. It's the worst. It's the worst stuff here, man. Robert, you're back with us. We survived, dude. We're kicking out. We're kicking out of all the internet finishers that they could put on us, man.
So clearly the 5-on-5 for us is going to be myself, you, Bill, Tyler, and I don't know, somebody else. You get somebody, Lavelle. Let's get Lavelle, and we're just gonna fight the entire B-Live staff.
We're going to fight our streaming provider, BeLive. So to BeLive, I've never done this to a corporation, a product of any kind. I work in selling products, but I will say this. To BeLive, I have two words for you. I'm going to say this, that our streaming provider, and we've told our people viewers, we are transitioning. It's a process to do it because we have to set up a whole new server for it. We're going to have our own dedicated server for these streams so that we could do some really cool things. And we still want to do the King and Queen of WrestleZone. We want that to be a fun, special thing, but it's also why we have to get over these hiccups. So you ready to jump into questions and other stories outside of Wednesday night?
Yes.
Well, let's do that. But I want to know who won the night for you, AEW or NXT? Now, I know you covered NXT completely. Maybe you haven't seen AEW. Do you not want to give a rating then?
I will give a rating because I feel like of what I saw of AEW, I know the vibe they're going for, and it's good wrestling, but the characters feel disjointed to me. I'm going with NXT. I told you, in the long run for me, I think NXT is winning this war on consistency, and this was some good, consistent product from NXT.
Well, Robert, I'm going to join you in that regard. Tonight, I choose NXT. And tonight, I would say it was by the widest margin. And part of it is those margins start to change. You start to grade on a curve based on how good the shows are. If AEW was unopposed tonight, it would be a great show. But it was opposed. And it was opposed by a very, very strong showing from NXT, where we're starting to see depth. Depth is starting to count for NXT, especially on the women's side. I thought the women's side for NXT was markedly better than the AEW side. I thought 2 War Games matches are big attractions. Like building up to a Royal Rumble match is a big deal. Building up to War Games on NXT feels like a big deal for the NXT fan. Though AEW had a strong night, I think Cody and Jericho is a very personal feud. I enjoy it. I felt, though, I had better storytelling, better matches. Dakota Kai, Kabuki Warriors. You told me a month ago these people would have the best match on a wrestling night. The replay has it on right now. I wouldn't have thought so. Also, I think AEW was set back by having short time on their main event. The pacing issues that they have, the TV production things that they had to get in and on the breaks, I think those are they kind of showed tonight. And it caught up to them at the end of the night. And that's why I think NXT was able to get the head on them. You're going to have a good time watching both shows. If you haven't seen either one, go seek them out. The match to see on NXT is Kabuki Warriors versus Team Kick. The match to see over on AEW is a 6-man tag with the Elite of Kenny Omega and the Bucks versus Kip Sabian and Hybrid 2.0. Those are the 2 matches you have to see from Wednesday night. So that is what we say.
I would agree with you there. And I would also say seek out a lot of the YouTube clips from NXT because this show was fire, as the children say.
Fire. It's fire, as the kids say. It's total fire, dude. We're gonna burn it down with emojis. That's how you do it. Let's get into everything going on outside of Wednesday night. As we always do here on our WZ Daily podcast, we cover everything going on in the world of wrestling, and you guys get to talk to us about it. Early this morning, I woke up to some noise outside of my apartment, and I couldn't fall asleep, and I turned on my phone, and history is made. History is made on the other side of the world. WWE Crown Jewel will go down in Saudi Arabia tomorrow. It features Team Hogan versus Team Flair with Ric Flair and Hulk Hogan. All right. It has Tyson Fury, big boxing star, in the ring with Braun Strowman. Cain Velasquez having his first WWE match, jumping over from UFC to take on Brock Lesnar for the title. Seth Rollins versus Bray. They're going to have a women's match? What happened here, dude? This came out of... we knew that they've always wanted, WWE's always wanted this. It's been very controversial that WWE went to Saudi Arabia and signed this long-term deal with all of the political issues that go on, with Saudi Arabia being a country that many people in the Western world feel it does not treat women fairly. And a lot of people having that. The entire situation with a journalist being assassinated in the eyes of many people. It was a very, very odd situation that WWE got themselves into that I don't know if they ever knew that. But now here they are, wanting to make cultural changes in this part of the world, wanting to introduce Americana to a part of the world that's trying to become a part of the Western world in Saudi Arabia. Maybe I'm saying too many political things, but we're going to have a women's match. This is there is no other way you could spin this, I think, negatively. This is a great, great thing for women's sports. This is a great thing for women in entertainment. And Natalya will take on Lacey Evans. I heard a lot of people immediately complain about who got chosen for the match and blah, blah, blah. The fact that it's happening is a great, great thing.
Okay, so let's dissect this bit by bit. I also was like you for some reason. I could not sleep. Got up. It was like 4:30, and all of a sudden, breaking news. Okay, and they had said, "Listen, Lana's over there too. Lacey Evans and Natalya were over there, but they had brought Natty and Alexa last time, and they didn't get to do anything. But this time around, they did. I think, regardless of what you want to say, and no, I don't feel like these are the two who are the best two to do it, but positive change is always positive, and it's a win for women everywhere, and it's a win especially for women in Saudi Arabian culture."
I agree. It's a big deal. What do you think of Natalya and Lacey getting the choice here? Obviously, people are going to say other people could go in. I mentioned that. It's historic. It's just
huge miss, I think. Becky Lynch is the most over superstar you have. How do you not put Becky Lynch in that spot? And how do you not put Becky and Charlotte in that spot?
Well, another part of this is what's to say they don't want to be there.
That's actually where I go with it. That if they didn't get that spot, they must not want to go.
And there's some talent that isn't going to be on the show.
Daniel Bryan's not going to be there. Kevin Owens. So like big name talent has the option of opting out of the show. I just feel like Natty and Lacey isn't the strongest first impression, but it doesn't matter almost because this is a beautiful moment. This is a historic moment, and congratulations to those women. I hope they put on a hell of a match. I hope selfishly I get to hear a "This is Hope" chant, because when they did the match in Abu Dhabi, that was like the big "This is Hope." I want to hear that in Saudi Arabia.
David Bixenspan, very esteemed journalist, covers the world of wrestling, does the Between the Sheets podcast. He tweeted out he put up a poll. How much do you want to think that WWE was going to put plants in the audience to chant it? And he went that way.
So Bixenspan is great journalist, highly opinionated journalist.
Sure, and some people are going to think that they're only doing this because of the negative press they got earlier this week with the Jordan Miles and the video game has issues. So what can we do that no matter what people are going to say is a good thing? And they did this, and that there's other people putting their spin on it. But hey, what's the coolest thing to do in wrestling right now? What's the coolest
hate on WWE?
To hate on WWE, and I was amazed how quickly people spun this into hating on WWE. So no matter what, it's a great thing. I think it's a strong move by WWE to get into this direction. and to say, hey, I was also surprised it happened this early. How many shows into the Saudi Arabia deal are we now?
There are 4 or 5. Maybe it's the 5th.
I think this is maybe the 4th that they've done. Maybe the 4th, right? And so, some people thought eventually when WWE went there and we heard that women wouldn't be a part of the show, there was a lot of uproar about that. People were a lot of reasonably upset. WWE spent a lot of years developing their women, giving them their own titles, giving them their own pay-per-view. The Total Divas of Revolution brought a bunch of women to the watching the sport. And so the fact that you're going to get into this big multi-million-dollar deal and not bring the women over was it put a sour taste in everyone's mouth, right? So now you're going to bring women over there. Are you going to keep doing it? Who knows? The fact that they get to do it is still great. Like, there's just nothing bad about it. I also think the match doesn't even need to be great. They just need to go out there and have a good match, get a good reaction, and let it be that. I also think Natalya deserves an honor like this. You can say whether or not Lacey deserves it. I can see that because Lacey's fairly new to the main roster of WWE, and a lot of people thought she got called up too early. But give Lacey her due. That's a strong woman who came from the military background and learned wrestling fairly quickly. And also, I don't think there's a more over female heel. I don't think Bayley isn't over as Lacey is as a heel. And so you need a good solid heel to go up there against a good solid baby face. And Natalya deserves that. Natalya is a first ballot Hall of Famer for what she's done for women's wrestling. And this is a special honor for her to have this match no matter what. So overall, good stuff. Are you looking forward to anything else on Crown Jewel tomorrow?
The Mansoor match. Because, again, I'm a sucker for a lively crowd.
A big babyface reaction. You're a sucker for that.
I'm a
just
sucker
want to see a
for
good.
it.
Yeah. I don't blame you there. He'll be taking on Cesaro. Tyson Fury taking on Braun Strowman. Tyson Fury has a big boxing match possibly set for the first quarter of next year. So there's a risky proposition for him to be in the ring there as a boxer. He's not going up against the Slavs. He's going up against Braun Strowman.
Well, I think this match is going to end in a schmaz, as they say. It's going to be I see them just double DQ. They're going to throw a referee out the ring and he'll fly into the crowd or something like.
There'll be a bunch of gaga to cover it. Like, they have so much gaga to cover this, right? That's
yeah.
A lot of people feeling this here. Benjamin A. Jones is noting this. NXT reshowing is interesting.
Because AEW's not.
AEW's not doing it. Another interesting point where if you're just joining us earlier in this live streaming podcast, we did AEW NXT. We felt like NXT had the stronger show. For weeks, AEW's been doing this. They have a movie. And TNT just went to a movie after they finished Dynamite tonight. But they've been doing the replay immediately after. Whereas tonight, even in the first hour, in the 6 o'clock Central hour, before NXT went live, you got a 1 hour recap of the previous week's show and that phenomenal triple threat match they had. And that was a great ending with the Finn Balor turn. And then boom, you're right into TNT, NXT. So many T's. That was a clever move. Now, right now I'm looking at a screen and WWE NXT has a replay on. You can say that WWE got hit by those ratings, but what do you think of these long-term moves by Triple H and his team on his side to position the black and yellow brand up against AEW?
They're winning the long game.
Oh, I don't know if they're going to win in the long game. It hasn't been decided yet. And we're not going to know until one of them taps out, maybe moves to a different night. But I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. But
I don't think
no matter what, WWE in general needs a strong week here. They had a ratings hit with SmackDown moving to FS1 last week. They had the Jordan Miles story. The video game has an issue. Crown Jewels is a tumultuous situation. NXT was a good show tonight. I don't know what the ratings are going to be for it, but it was a strong show. It made you feel like you couldn't turn it off. It was hard for me to watch both shows tonight, so I enjoyed it here. So that's what we got going on here, heading into everything with Crown Jewel. We will be live tomorrow. Follow us on Twitter. We'll be live tweeting the show and doing all that fun stuff. You can follow Robert on Twitter where?
At DeFelice. It's DUDEFELICE.
You're busy in this whole wrestling media game. We can't.
Yeah.
You're the most polyamorous wrestling journalist of all time.
I sure am, and I'm so ready to switch to monogamy.
You're over on.
I'm over on Fightful.com. I like them. Fightful Select reported
you
the
like
Lacey Evans,
you like
Lacey
them.
Natalia thing. I'm over on eWrestling News. Go follow them if you want. Yeah, that's me.
Oh, good. Say hi to Sean for me, okay? All right, say hi to him.
He's a nice guy. He's tall.
Yeah, he's real nice. I bet he's real nice. I bet he's a nice guy. Nice guy.
Who told you to do what? Who told you to do what? When you started working for Fightful.com. What did he tell you to do to me, your podcasting tag team partner? I'm pointing you out, Robert. What did he tell you to do?
He did tell me to turn on you, but as you can see, I have a mind of my own, and I did not do that.
Thank you. Thank you, Robert. He told you to turn on you and spray paint Fightful on my back. Did he not tell you to do that, Robert?
He did, a very NWO style.
Darn right. It's not going to happen. Ridiculousness.
It's always ridiculous, but at least we have fun here, Kevin.
Yes, we do. You can see me on the comedy stage. I will be at the Pig's Mind Comedy Festival in Loves Park, Illinois. Pig's Mind Brewing. Going to be doing that on the Friday after Thanksgiving. So that's going to be really, really cool. You can come and check that out. I believe it's Friday after Thanksgiving. No, it's November 25th. I believe is the one I'm doing that on. And follow me on Twitter. I'll post about all my comedy shows and all the fun stuff I'm doing there as well. 101 WKQX, the alternative rock radio station I'm on. You can listen to us on iHeartRadio while you're at work, whatever. Alternative rock, a lot of great stuff. We have the Nights We Stole Christmas coming up at the Byline Bank Aragon Ballroom in Chicago in December. 3 of the shows are sold out with 21 pilots. Cage the Elephant and Mumford & Sons. You can still get tickets to see the 1975 and 311 with Highly Suspect and Glorious Sons. I'm very much excited and looking forward to that. And then December 14th, you can see me at the Hobart Theater in Hobart, Indiana. I'll be performing on the final night of another night of comedy, which will be pretty cool. Hobart Theater Comedy. Good stuff. Plugs are done. Guys, don't say its name 3 times. All the fun stuff you guys are saying here. James Spontan saying, nice guy, Ross Sapp. Not a nice guy. Not a nice guy. I will confirm, not a nice dude. Justin Root saying, good show, enjoy WZ. Should we have an enjoy WZ t-shirt?
Yeah, because why are you enjoying wrestling? Just enjoy us. If you're enjoying us, then you are enjoying wrestling.
Us! We're your wrestling!
If you enjoy us, then you're enjoying wrestling, and we are wrestling.
Oh, we're Matt Pessold, a faithful viewer of the show, saying Kevin and Robert are the mega powers. We're gonna do a mega power handshake.
Look at
the camera. Do the thing. A little bit of brother.
Yeah.
And I love when they did the mega powers handshake with Macho Man and Hulk, and they held hands and moved out of the camera. Macho had to hold his wrist because he was drawn to it, but it was so dangerous. So over the top and wonderful.
God, wrestling is great when it's done that way.
Oh, dude, it's when it's like it verges on the point of ridiculousness, but the people that perform it do it so well that you don't care. That's Macho Man Randy Savage to a T. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
All right, so thank you guys so much for supporting the show. We will be back tomorrow with a WWE Crown Jewel post show. We'll watch way too much wrestling and we'll have way too much fun. Thank you for supporting the show, especially with all the crazy technical issues and everything we have to deal with. And if you enjoyed this, share it with your friends. Also, subscribe to the WrestleZone podcast feed. So if you just want to hear the audio without all these weird live streaming interruptions, you can get them there. Rate, review, and subscribe. And we'll also post the shows up on YouTube. And I bet this will look great on YouTube when we get interrupted for 30 seconds. All right, we'll be back tomorrow. Thank you so much. Robert, tell them that thing they got to do.
Enjoy wrestling.